see, are we live? I think so. Let's see. All right, we'll give people a sec to jump on because I announced this is very late. Not that much of a surprise. My track record. Trying to get organized for a second. I can probably, should I move you a little closer? Maybe. No, actually, I think you're good. Not you're good. We know you're good. I just, the camera, I think, is the right distance. All right, so as you're jumping on, if you could say hi. Let me know where you're watching from, if you can hear me okay. That would be much appreciated. Because what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be prepping for a winter workshop. Because there is a bit of a science to it if you want to be profitable at it. So I have to get prepped for one this Friday anyways, so I figured it might be fun to chat. And I'm hoping that some of the folks who have already purchased my course are going to be able to join. Because then, you know, you can ask me questions. So yes, I just launched a course a few days ago, and it's on how to run in-person wreath workshops. So this is not my main business. You know, my main business is it's teaching and selling. It's not necessarily the workshops because, you know, some seasons I do a lot. Some seasons I, you know, want to make sure I'm taking time to enjoy, you know, family time and all that stuff, but there is a great profit margin to be made if you kind of follow the science. It's a lot of it comes down to prepping, pricing, how we shop, like all of those things kind of add to it. Hey Kim, I'm prepping for my workshop on Friday, and so I figured I would come on and just kind of talk about the course. See how everybody's doing, all the things. How are you? I love your designs. I wonder how big the boxes are that you have to ship in. They must be huge because I feel like your swags are always like big and beautiful. I know. I actually, so I'm doing a virtual workshop in a week. And I made too many kits, so I am actually gonna do a virtual one that's open to the public, and that is gonna be on November 25th. So it's gonna have a lot of the same materials that we're gonna be using tonight, which this season, I have to say I'm very happy with how I shopped because I did a bunch of things wholesale, so I got some really great quality items. You are, not you're crooked. I'm crooked. Let's just fix that real quick. God forbid I be prepared. I was so close to being on time, and the phone call came that I've been waiting since September for. I was like, no, I just have to take it really quick. Which threw me off. So if you're watching, yeah, you can join that one. I do have it listed on the website. I'll make yours extra special because, you know. But yes, it is available on the website. So at enchantedvines.com. And oh my gosh, Bruno has been so fresh tonight. I like screamed at him like an 80s mom. Like I just like lost my cool. Jennifer, hello, my latest student, thanks so much for purchasing the course. I definitely want your feedback, and I will not be offended because I want to make sure that it serves as much as it can, because I really do think about all the things that have happened to me over the years, like how to, how to make sure you have everything. Like, I've been so scared of like showing up with everything but the wreaths. So like I have made systems to make sure that I feel calm, because if you go into a workshop and you are uptight or stressed, like that's going to set the tone. Like, people need to know that you are like, you're relaxed, you're having fun, this isn't work, like we're all just having like this whole group experience. So for me, I always take a nap, like, or at least I lay down for like a good 30-40 minutes. Oh, but you're prepping leftovers. See, I love multitasking. I love it. Yeah, I always take a nap and make sure that I'm rested. And I like to prep my materials at least a day or two before. 2 days would be ideal. Just that way, in case you're short on something and you need to shop, you have time. If anybody's into that, what is it, like ASMR, RM? Then this is gonna put you in overdrive because there's a lot of crinkling things. And Kim, I would love that. And actually, if anybody does want to do the virtual workshop with me, we can connect on like kind of customizing it. Typically, I do like a simple bow, but like we can do something else. We could even do like a roll of ribbon because you're a bow maker. So I guess yeah, if I could make that happen, I would gladly do that. So yes, it's on the website under workshop, but it's going to be done November 25th, and if you can't join, it's still going to be available to watch on replay. So Jennifer, you're in the hot seat. Have you done in-person workshops before? And Kim, have you? Oh yeah, okay, so you do classes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, things I've learned the hard way, like bringing an attendance list. I made it for years without having to do that. And, of course, I ended up having crashers at one, and they refused to acknowledge that they were crashers. It was at a wine boutique. So it was like these two people were, like, drinking wine that was somebody else's. And so from there, I started my attendance list that I print out, and I also include, like, if there's a variation of something, like I always do, like, 3 ribbon choices. I keep that on the sheet as well, because, I'm not dogging my fellow females, but sometimes when we see something that someone else has, we kind of want it. So somebody may have originally picked plaid, but then they're like, ooh, the blue's really pretty, I want that. And you might not have it. Like, that's the thing, is you can't give it to, 2/3 of the room and then say, hey, sorry guys, I ran out. Like, you kind of have to try and they need to stick to what they signed up for. So when I'm prepping my materials, I like to take off any of the identifying information. And it's not like I don't tell people, like I got it off of Pioneer and this and that, but you do want to kind of have your pricing and your profit margin. Like it's a personal decision on, like there's a lot of things that could fluctuate. Like maybe you're doing it at a brewery and that brewery requires that everybody gets 1 drink. So, okay, so that's like an extra $8. So that needs to get built into the ticket price. Or maybe you need to drive an hour instead of 20 minutes, and so you want to be compensated for that. So I like it just because I feel like it keeps my pricing private to me, because I already have in my mind like what it's going to be, and that's how I shop as well, is to make sure that I have the ideal profit margin when the tickets are priced. Yeah, and Jennifer, like, so the way I did it, because I can only read so much, is that there's an intro module. It sounds very formal. But then there's going to be a video on how to do a spring wreath, a fall wreath. Well, the spring wreath could be like year round, and that recipe can be applied to anything. So it has the spring / year round, it has fall, and then it has winter. And what I like about it is that it is a very easy to follow recipe because you want it to be easy to teach. I don't know your experience, but in my experience, a lot of people come in and they just want to get it out of their way that like their wreath is going to suck because they don't want to be the person who's like not keeping up with the class. Like, I totally get it. So you want to make sure that we have something that's very doable and repeatable, and also that we can kind of do with our eyes closed because our muscle memory has kicked in, and like I've made this specific recipe so many times now that it just, I don't have to really, I just go on autopilot, you know. But when I started, I did have notes on just like the bullet points because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. So that's kind of also some of the resources. And I need to put in like a little disclaimer because the first module, I put in a lot of resources, and I don't want it to be overwhelming. I just want to make sure that people can find the things that they need. So for each season, it has, you know, an example of how you could market your ticket. It has a Facebook event post. So it kind of does a lot of the work. Like, definitely alter it so that it's, you know, your tone, you know, whatever your target audience's tone is. But at least it's good to have kind of like a little template. And then mesh with ribbon tails. We've done a few grapevine. I don't know why. I almost would. Let's see, I've never done mesh, so I guess I don't know what that would cost. Maybe after you, I'm curious about that. Maybe after we can connect on what the costs look like for grapevine on my end versus what it would look like doing mesh, because I just don't know. And Kim, you should. You're just a good time. So people are going to love it. Like, you know, you want to know who your target audience is. There are people who are teaching people who are wreath makers who either want to improve upon their skill set or they want to take their stuff and they want to sell it. Mine are for people who want to have a good time. Like, they, you know, want to catch up with friends and family. They're not looking to be overly challenged by things. Because when I started, I had, you know, I bought mini glue guns for everybody. I gave them all the stuff to make bows. And I just kept seeing over and over again that people got flustered by the bow making, or I would offer, like, do you want me to make it? And pretty much everybody wanted me to make it. So that led me down to the path of just, why don't I make the bows in advance? And if somebody says, like, no, I want to learn, then obviously I'll take the time to teach them. And then same thing with the glue, you know, like, people aren't used to those tools. They might be afraid to use it. They might not know how to use it. So I just try and keep mine like easy breezy. And I also offer, just to kind of like zhuzh things up a little bit, if somebody's not loving their design, I would just feel bad if like they came and they spent all this money and then they left with something that they didn't like. Because that's how I always feel about paint nights, is like, I have such a good time and I have done them so many times, but my paintings are horrible. Like, they go in the trash, they go under the bed. I've never put one on the wall because I'm just not a good painter. But like, sometimes I'm like looking at the instructor just like, can't you just help me out? Like, one time I had a painting that was actually pretty decent, and the last step was to paint a tiny Adirondack chair. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, and so then I ruined it because I can't paint an Adirondack chair of any size. I couldn't draw one. I couldn't paint one. And I just like, that just kind of resonated with me. Like, why couldn't that person just kind of give me a hand when I needed it? Not to do the whole thing, but just when I needed it. Hello, Miss Tina. I loved your live. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right, so I always portion out materials. This is one of like the bigger things when we are trying to control costs. If we have things as a free-for-all, it might look so fun to have like a floral bar and all of these things for people to go and choose. But what happens is if you lose control of your inventory, there could be that person who just takes and takes and takes. And what happens when someone does that is then you might not have enough for the rest of the group, and that's super unfair to the group. So I always bring extras of everything. I always assure people, you know, like if something should fall off or whatever, like it's fixable. We have plenty of stuff. But I had a workshop. See, again, this is like the things that I've learned the hard way. I had a workshop where I left my bag just like open and in sight. And I had this woman just coming out with like piles of stuff. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't want to take it away from her. I felt awkward. I was like, you know, I didn't know what to do. And so instead of trying to have or being forced to have those awkward conversations, I decided that I'm going to portion everything out. And then if they need something, like I will get it, but my bags are out of sight and they're not accessible. And also I want to make sure that I have enough of everything. So if I brought, you know, a bunch of red berries and a bunch of blue ones, but then everybody wanted blue and I don't have enough, again, like then somebody gets shortchanged and that's just not going to feel good to them if they're like the one or two people that didn't get the same thing everybody else got. So this is going to be a crescent wreath. Okay, and this is a very, very easy design. Okay, I didn't grab a wreath. That might have been helpful. Don't have a wreath. But, so I always have some big sprays. These berries are from David, David Christopher. Yeah, I was like gonna say, I've been so good about saying the name right. So yes, I got these direct from David Christopher's. The quality is great and they're very lifelike looking, okay, because I am a berry snob and if they don't have like this nice coating on them, they're not going to last. And I want these to be wreaths that people can hang outside. So when I'm prepping, if there are really thick stems like this, I have heavy duty wire cutters. I do not give out heavy duty wire cutters to the group. Because we don't want to be giving people tools that could possibly, like they could get hurt. So I do have liability insurance and I do get into that in the course about, you know, like what could happen, like why it's helpful to have it. I can't tell people that like you have to have it or you shouldn't have it because that's legal advice. So someone should talk to their lawyer, their accountant, something like that about liability insurance. But for me, it costs me about $300 a year, and it gives me such peace of mind because what it does is if something should happen and someone should turn around and say, you know, you are the cause of harm, I'm going to sue you, then it doesn't touch my personal finances. The insurance covers it. So I think it's definitely worth it. It also covers me for when I'm selling. And what I thought was interesting is like the rep I spoke to, she's like, well, what if one of your wreaths fell off and it hit somebody in the head or it's like stuck them in the eye? You know, of course they come up with like the scariest thing. Stuck them in the eye and then they had to go get surgery, you know. So I was like, yeah, it covers me for that too. So, you know, if you call around whether you're pricing or whatever, you want to give a full scope of what it is that you do. So if you are doing it, you know, for other things aside from wreath workshops, you want to include that. You want to have like an umbrella of like safety for yourself. Terrible painting. And like that's the whole thing is like the wreath workshops, it's more about the experience. And if they get to leave with a beautiful wreath, it's like a bonus. Like I have had so many people be like, they've had neighbors come up to them and ask where they got it. These moms will like go home and wake up their kids because they're so proud of their work because they didn't think they could do it, but they can. So it always has to be an achievable design, okay? And so that is what this recipe is. And even if you didn't want to teach wreath workshops, even if you just wanted the 4 tutorials, you know, the course is $77. If you're doing a wreath workshop, you are gonna make that with like, I mean, you could have 2 people and make that money back, and then some. So depending, you know, depending on how you structure things and how you shop and how you price, you could easily make that money back with 2 people at a workshop. Let's see. Yeah, making a business an LLC is the same idea of, you know, you want to have there be a separation between you as a person, as like, you know, a crafter or a hobbyist. You want to be a business, and you want your assets kept away from your business, because we're all learning, and like that's the thing is, you don't know what you don't know, and so we find out the hard way for things. And when it comes to like legal matters, like I don't want to find out the hard way. I just found out when my insurance renewed, you know, I do some events that are like BYOB, and because, you know, your girl loves to have a glass of wine while she designs, and they actually changed the insurance rules or regulations that if you're not licensed to sell alcohol and you give someone alcohol and something happens, you're liable. So what that meant for me was, if I go to a workshop, I usually, like, if someone doesn't have something, I share. And I'm like, I can't share because then I'm giving somebody alcohol and I'm not licensed. They bought a ticket from me. It could be considered selling. So now I have an excuse not to share my wine. Kidding, kind of. But I'm glad I know. I would not want to find out the hard way that somebody had gone out to dinner beforehand and had, you know, drinks, and they came here, and then I gave them, you know, another glass of wine, and it was a problem. So knowing the laws, because, you know, whenever we're doing things in business and we're doing things with the public, we have to make sure that we're protecting ourselves, our family, our assets. You know, yes, it can be a side hustle, but it has to be a side hustle that's going to help you, not somehow jeopardize, you know, your family. Like, because a lot of people this time of year, they might just jump into workshops because they want to get some extra money for Christmas gifts. They might want to do a fundraiser for, you know, their PTA, their church, things like that. And so it's a great way to just kind of get up and running, because I do the whole script for you. Granted, you're going to put your own spin on it, because that's what makes it special, and that's what's going to make people want to go back to you, is that you're genuine when you're teaching. And, you know, people can sense when you're genuine and when you're having a good time and when you're kind of like faking it. Yes, Tina. Hello. Is it Anne? I hope, well, hello. I don't know if it's Anne, so I don't know the thing. Yeah, so these are David Christopher. And then these I got from Jacobson's, okay, another wholesaler. They're based in Boston. I have never gone to see it in person because they also sell live florals, and I just know I can't handle it. So whenever I order, I order direct from them sometimes. And then this round I ordered from this wholesale website called Faire, and it's Faire. And it's kind of like if you've ever been to like the Dallas Marketplace or something. It's where all the wholesalers are all under like one umbrella. And so I noticed that Jacobson's had more things on the Faire website versus their direct website. So these are gorgeous. Okay, so like, you know, it's definitely okay if you want to start, you know, safe, or you don't have a business idea and you want to go and, you know, source things from like local craft stores. But like there is something to when people, I've had people be like 20 minutes in and be like, this is fake. I'm like, yeah, like permanent botanicals have come such a long way. These are stunning. And the pricing on them was phenomenal. It totally matched my profit margin. Same thing with these berries. Totally fit into my profit margin. And because of that, I'm going to have a healthy profit from this workshop. And so if anybody has any questions too, definitely let me know. And so in the course, I give shopping lists for whether you want to buy online, like say you want to use TMI Gifts or TCT Crafts. I have a supply list there with the SKU numbers. If you want to go wholesale, I give you the, the wholesaler and the SKUs for that. And then also if you wanted to do like your Michaels or Hobby Lobby, that's there too. So I'm like giving you the recipe, giving you the measurements so that you don't have to do all of that legwork, because then you can kind of see yourself like where the money can be made. Let's see, I was like, I may not have brought everything down. I blame it on my phone call, but I will say I just got my couch replaced and I've been waiting since September to get that news. And so when that call came, I had to take it. The wholesale license is a game changer, Kim. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that you can't get good deals at other places, but even right now, because we're getting... Is this like super noisy for you guys? Is it hard to hear me? Yeah, I found like when shopping in person, I'm so glad you guys like the materials, because that means they're gonna love them. If I'm impressing you guys, then people who aren't used to like permanent botanicals, or they just see the ones, the kind of like the dusty old school ones, then they're gonna love them, because these absolutely look real to me. These look real to me. These can be broken up. And then this one is just for them to pull apart. Okay, I'm not gonna do it, but these all just easily pull apart. So what's nice about this is it's an easy to do step, and it gives them stuff to do. Like kind of, if you've ever done HelloFresh is like a one-trick pony. They're like, cut the scallions, separate the white part of the scallion from the green, and then they make it like a big step. But it's really not. It's like, it's just something they do to make us feel like, okay, yeah, we're cooking. Like, we're doing something very complicated. We are mastering this, and it's smart because it gives you confidence that you know how to cook. So, same idea. You hear good, okay. Do I pay for the venue? I do not. The way I approach venues, okay, and I also include a little script that you can either email or you can talk to an owner about, is that you're gonna bring in business on a slow night. So usually I'm doing them like a Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a Thursday, but usually it's like Tuesday, Wednesdays, because those are the days that breweries, wineries, they're slow. Boutiques are doing them after hours when they would normally be closed. It gives them an opportunity to sell. The only caveat to that would be when a business says like, you need to like include the cost of a beer. Or like next week I'm doing one at a winery, and the wine tasting as we're working, it's $25. So that $25 had to go on top of my ticket price, because otherwise, like if I had to pay $25 per person, then I would be out of my money. So I don't pay for venues, because you just have to point out the value in you coming on a night that usually there aren't people. These are just for the class, but hello, Leslie, how are you? These are just for the class, but I'm actually doing a virtual workshop, a company one next week, and I made like 13 too many kits. So I'm gonna do a virtual workshop, and it's gonna have pretty much the same materials, but if you want these exact materials, I can totally deliver. I did use a different type of greenery. It's David Christopher's, but it's not as like long and bristly as this. So if anybody did want to order a kit, let me see. You could just add a note and check out, and I can also follow up with you around, like, if you already make bows, you don't want a pre-made bow sent to you. If you don't want to make a bow and you want me to make the bow, then I'm happy to do it. But, I think it'll be a nice thing, because it's the week of Thanksgiving. It's a few days in advance, and things kind of slow down. Like, when I was doing my like 9 to 5, it was always a week that's like people are just checked out. Like they have taken most of the week off. They're not starting new projects because they know they're just ready to kind of enjoy Thanksgiving and have the day after it off. So I think it's Tuesday the 25th. I think it's a nice time because we can kind of have some wine, relax. You know, like for me, I find this stuff to be so therapeutic. So, you know, instead of kind of being wrapped up in like the hustle and bustle, I guess, like I just want to chill that week. And so it's gonna be a chill thing. So I would say that kits should be ordered at least a week in advance to make sure they get to you. But if you're not available, I think it's going to be Tuesday night at 7, then you could always watch the replay. But it's always fun to craft with friends. So ideally, I'd love for us all to be able to do it together. I'll be back. Kim, I love that you're going to do it. And I love that you're like letting me know in case I call on you. It's like when the teacher calls on you and you're not ready. So, Jennifer, are you in Everbloom? Because I was talking to the group the other day about the telltale signs I do, that since the course is so new and people are just going through it for the first time, I'm like super freaked out that I'm gonna miss something in editing, because when I'm filming, there's a few telltale signs when I go off track or I say something that doesn't make sense or I'm not supposed to. One is obviously if I swear. That's a stopper. The other is I go like this because I want something to jump out at me when I am using my editing software. I want to know, like, I want to draw attention to the fact, like, you need to stop and do something, delete something. But then the worst fear I have is when I say something that is wrong or doesn't make sense, and I just look up and I just stare into space as I process what I said and what I meant to say. And I gotta tell you, I have watched myself do it many times, and it looks very strange, and I'm so afraid that that is going to be somewhere on one of those videos. But, you know, there's 5 modules. I'm going to keep building on it because things keep coming to me. Every time there's like a hiccup or remember a hiccup, like the time I got trapped next to a crock pot for over an hour. And the reason why that happened was, one, I didn't get the layout. Okay, so when somebody says, like, can you do a workshop in my house, you gotta have some answers. You need to know, like, how many 6-foot tables can you fit? Like, is there a room dedicated to this? Like, all this stuff. So what happened that night was I brought my own 6-foot table, which typically wouldn't be an issue. Like, sometimes you need them, usually you don't. But I was set up with my glue gun where the crock pot was. So people were legit having a party around me, and I'm just standing there. There was a person who did not want any help, but she also took over an hour longer than everybody else. So, you know, when we have a start and a stop time, it's just like any other job. People need to respect that if they're not done and you've offered to help them and they decide that they want to keep going, then you are free to go. So for me, I would have moved her off of the table, off of the 6-foot table onto, furniture that belonged there. And I would have said, like, hey, I'm sorry, like, if you don't want my help, there's nothing more I can do for you, peace out, because this event runs from, 6:30 to 8:30, and the time has come. And it's not that people are doing it to be rude, and I don't want to say it like I don't love the people that attend these events, because I do. They do not feel like work to me at all. I truly, truly have so much fun, and I used to fear public speaking. Like, if I was in a room with my coworkers, even though I knew them all, I love them all, if I had to, like, present something, I would just get so nervous. Like, I always sat near the door in case I felt like I was going to get sick, Always hives, always. I used to have a whole wall of scarves in my office because I did HR, which meant I had to have a lot of really difficult conversations with people. And difficult conversations make me break out in hives. And I used to have meetings where I could tell that the person was like uncomfortable because they could see my hives. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm making people uncomfortable because I'm uncomfortable. So kind of getting over that fear, it's so doable. If I was able to get over it and like just get up there in front of, 40 people and have a mic and a, video thing focused on me, like I promise anybody can do it. It's just a matter of getting systems in place. The more prepared we are, the more confident we are. And when we're confident, we just kind of go on autopilot. And that way we are actually having fun with people. Because you can't really fake it. People are going to know if you're not feeling it or you had a bad day. Like they're paying for an experience that is going to be, relaxing, fun, all of those things. But if you go in there and you're like, oh, you wouldn't believe what happened to me today, you're going to take that joy away from them. And that's not what they came there for. They came there to just have a nice time out, and maybe they go with friends, maybe they don't. I think it's great when people want to go solo because they're not really there to socialize. They just want to do the craft. So you want to make sure that you leave that very, very much open. Like you don't need to have experience. You don't need to bring a friend. This is going to be a group activity and we're all going to have fun together. All right. So right now I have prepped. I didn't bring down all the greenery, okay? But so what I was doing is, as I'm counting out my material, and this is very basic, okay? So we're using 3 different elements, like that's it. We just have 2 of these pine sprays, then we have a different style of pine that gets pulled apart, and then there's 2 berry sprays, okay? Super simple to prep. If you make it too complicated that you're taking, cutting up all of these bushes and all of these things, it really becomes for me, it's heavy on my hands and wrists because I get like arthritic and it's just a lot, it's avoidable. So when you find, again, like the right shopping list, what was that? Oh, Meredith, that's never happened to me before. See, now I'm not going to get hives, I'm going to blush. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I've also never done that for anybody. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You get hives too. I know. And sometimes it's like, I don't know about you, Meredith, but like sometimes it's not nerves, but it looks like it. Like if I get my hair blow dried and I get really hot, because, like my hairdresser's like, are you nervous or is it the heat? And I'm like, it's the heat. But sometimes I'm like, no, I'm uncomfortable. Like we're having a very like private conversation and I'm getting uncomfortable because I know other people can hear me in the salon. Yeah, you get it. And it could be like, sometimes it's the wine. When I yelled at my dog earlier, my nose, like all of a sudden I had like rosacea. I'm like, this is just, they say there's an Irish curse for men. I won't get into that, but also for women, I think we just can't hide things. So yes, Tina, I think you guys are gonna prefer this. So I can show you the option with the David Christopher one that I'm using for the other kits. However, they're not quite as full. So if you guys do wanna do that virtual workshop in November, just leave a note or I can message you guys too and just find out because yes, you can have these exact products and it's nice to see how far the right products can go versus not spending a bunch of money that you don't need to spend because that just hurts your profit margin. Oh, yay, Kim's in. You're Irish too, yes. Did your mother even use salt on your food? Because my mom is strictly pepper and that's as spicy as it gets in that household. So it is amazing that my daughter and I, we really love to cook and we're pretty good at it. But I'm like, I definitely didn't get it from my mom because she makes a mean tuna casserole, but she's not known for her cooking. So when I do get to my venue, okay, I'm putting these all in a Hulken bag. These things, so let me see. These things are the bomb, okay? I used to use them to move my daughter in and out of her dorm. But when you have to schlep, if you're schlepping by yourself, which I always am, these are on wheels. So what I do is I have a small Hulken bag that has my tools, my tablecloths, things like that. And then I have 1 or 2 Hulken bags that have these in them, depending on how many people. And then I have a third Hulken bag that has all of the extra supplies, and that is the bag that I put away. So the first thing I do is I unpack my smaller Hulken bag, I put out the tablecloths, and then I go from there with the setup. So in the course, it does list, you know, what you put in a tool bag for your attendees. Again, you don't want to use things that are super sharp. You don't want to give people tools that they could hurt themselves on, or they could put their hand in the bag and get stuck with something. You have to kind of like think that through. An example of that would be, you know, I have one of those chomp machines that kind of like can cut a whole bush of stems at once. And I was like, oh, this thing's fantastic. And I used it, and somebody pricked their finger twice. And I was like, that is really weird because it's never happened. And then that's when I realized, I'm like, I used the chopping machine. So then I went home and I used it to see, and it doesn't chop even. It chops at an angle because it's crushing it. So I was like, that can't be used for workshops because people can hurt themselves. So again, another lesson, and I need to include that in the course. So for winter, I'm like a super sucker for bells. So I'm gonna give them some bells, and I'm gonna have all this stuff already laid out for them. If you leave like a pile of bells out and like stuff, people are just gonna grab a bunch. So you have to have control of all of the inventory. So they have two bells, and they're gonna keep their supplies, you know, in a pile-ish, because sometimes people grab other people's things. You know, I'm sure it's always an accident, but what happens is then you're put on the spot because someone's like, I don't have that, you know. I have not tried the Amazon ones, but I have heard that they are good because these are normally $100, and the founder, it's a female founder, and she was on Good Morning America, and they had them all half off. And so my mom and I like were just like going berserk, ordering as many as we could, because you can use them for a million different things. But for the workshop, not having to carry everything is just great. Like, and you could even fill it with your wreaths, you know, like you could have as many as you need. So when I like to offer options, because you don't know what somebody's front door is, you don't know what their style is. So I like to try and have something that is, so for winter especially, I want to make sure I have something in case people, you know, maybe they're celebrating Hanukkah, maybe they don't like, you know, the red and green, they don't want something too Christmassy, they want something that could stay up after the holidays, you know, in January. So I always make sure I have something in wintertime. And I also label these workshops as winter workshops, because you don't want to make people, you know, feel like, I don't know. I did one called a Christmas workshop once at a country club, and the majority of the women were Jewish. And one of them was like, my mom is going to be so mad when she finds out I went to a Christmas workshop. And I'm like, well, there's nothing Christmas about it. And then I was like, oh, but I get it. Like, that's not the right term for this. You don't want to make people feel like their moms are going to, you know, they're going to be in trouble. All right. So then this part that I'm going to do is my bow prep. Let's see. What is your carrying container? Yeah. So this is a Hulken bag. Let me see. You do pepper also. No salt unless it's sea salt. Yes. Yeah, my mom's just never going to use spice. There's no reason for her to even have any in the house because she doesn't use them. So yeah, these are Hulken bags. I can go back after this video. I'm going to tag the course. Actually, I wanted to put the course in the comments. And actually, I guess I could put the virtual workshop. Hey, Cara, let's put on our thinking cap, shall we? All right, so I'm going to put in here the link for the virtual workshop. Okay, again, I think there's like 12 or 13 kits available, and I can absolutely like tailor them so that they're this greenery versus the other greenery that I'm using, because I have a feeling you guys like this one, you will like this one better. And it's gonna be on the 25th, but if you can't make it, you can always watch the replay. And let's see here. But I was thinking like we could do it over Zoom, because I love YouTube, but I always don't like how it's like one-sided. Like I love to be able to like interact with people. Like now I get to see when Kim does a reel, like I get to learn about her. Leslie, I got to meet in person. I mean, so it's got a different feel like when, you know, you actually get to know people and they're like this whole friend group that you didn't even know you had. All right, then let me see for. I just shut down the window. I shut everything off. Give me 1 sec to undo that. So. And also I have a free like handout, I guess. And it's the 10 things I wish I knew when I got started. And to me, they're like little nuggets of information that really would have spared me quite a few things. So I'm gonna drop that link in as well. So that is free. And if you subscribe to the email list, or I'm also gonna just drop the kit in, the course in as well. But every module has a video on how to make the design. So if you don't want to teach and you just want to design with me, you can do it that way. You can have, 4 tutorials. One is floral arrangements, and then the other 3 are the seasonal wreaths. And I plan on being like an ongoing resource. So if you have questions or there's something that you're like, I don't think you got into this enough, then like you say the word and it's going to happen. So like I already have a few things that I know I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add some videos on, because when I did talk about what the setup is that I use, like I give people the kind of like those monument easels, those like they fold up. I didn't use those right away. You don't want to spend a ton of money on tools and like supplies until you know this is something I like, this is something I want to pursue. You don't want to be stuck with all of those things without kind of like testing it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I know you can be great at it, but it's a matter of if it's something that interests you. Oh, I know. It is, you know what though? It is overwhelming, and if it makes you feel any better, everybody experiences it. Like everybody goes through it. So, and I find myself, at times I'm like, what did I do? Like, I need to be doing, like I have this huge to-do list. The more you get into being a small business owner, you're learning Canva, you're learning email blasts. Like I had to learn this course system. Like it's a lot. And when you try and talk to like friends and family, they only understand so much of it, and they can only tolerate so much like wreath talk. And I respect it. I get it. See, yep, Kim is telling you she's not alone. And Kim is somebody who absolutely, she enjoys what she does. She exudes like the happiness when she's designing. So we all experience it, but it's super important to find and connect with people who are going to validate you and support you and say like, you're doing a great job. It's very normal to be overwhelmed. It's very normal to say, oh my God, I promised I wasn't going to buy any more ribbon. And then there I went again. Like I have bought so much ribbon this season. And even my mother was like, don't you dare buy any more ribbon. And I'm like, I can't help it. I can't help it. You see it and you have to have it. So I'm like, I need to spend some time doing some serious tree topper making, because there's a great profit margin in tree topper bows. Like great. All right, I'm sorry I'm doing this now. I should have had this a little prepared. Ribbon, I know. It's like, I don't understand. I mean, I mean, I get it, but I don't understand why we can't say no. Like, we see pretty things all the time, but there's something about ribbon that everybody has a problem with. And if I should fall off this chair, it's because the screw is missing. It's definitely going to hurt my ego, but I just want to put it out there that it's a little wobbly because of that. Yep, 100%, Kim. Find your tribe. It is such a game changer. All right, so when I'm making bows in advance, I usually grab myself a glass of wine. I watch TV. I didn't bring a ruler over here, but this is just, it's super simple. It's got a very clever name. It's called the 10 by 10 method. And all it is everything you're doing is in 10-inch increments. Okay, but I have done this. I could legit do this in my sleep, which would be great if I just woke up and there was a pile of bows, but I don't think Steve would like that. Oh, the Ferris silk, I know. Oh, I love that, Jennifer. It does make a difference because I didn't realize that I was kind of like on an island, and I didn't realize, like, I didn't know a lot of other wreath makers. Like, and Ashley's kind of like the one who, you know, Ashley from Three Little Greenwoods, she's my wreath bestie. And one time we were on a Zoom call or something for Success Circle, and she messaged me and was like, do you want to be friends? And I was like, sure. And she opened she opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was missing. Okay. And so it's great when you have people that you can share resources with. Like Melissa from TCT Crafts, we were in a coaching group together. And can I just tell you, like, she is so smart and she is so efficient, and she will absolutely like drop anything to help you. And I'm like, I don't know how I got by without these two. I really don't. So, you know, you need to find people that it's a happy place, it's a supportive place, and you can actually throw out like your vulnerabilities. Like, you know, last winter I had imposter syndrome. Every wreath I made was terrible. I got so stuck in my head, and I just talked myself out of it. I forgot how to make them. I don't know what happened, but it was a really hard season for me. And I just remember talking to Ashley, and I'm like, I just can't get it out of my head that these don't look good. And I don't know why, because I felt like the year before I made pretty winter wreaths. And so having somebody say like, you know, like, sis, I got you. I feel the same way sometimes, makes you feel better. Because I'm like, well, if Ashley can feel that way and she's super talented, then anybody could feel that way. It's very easy to get into imposter syndrome. It's super important to catch it right away and just like not get yourself all psyched out that you can't do something that you know how to do. And if you are following other makers and you're just looking and going like, they're really talented, they're way better than me, I am not gonna ever do well, then sometimes you just need to get a little space from that. You don't have to like block and do all those things. You can, but like if you don't, you know, but you can snooze somebody or mute them so they don't know that they're muted. You get your peace and your control back. And that gives you some space to get your creative juices flowing versus saying like, I don't know how to do what she's doing. Like if I watched all Kim's things and I was like, I can't make a swag like Kim can. And Kim has outswagged me with my own swag kits. But if I really psyched myself out of it and said like, I shouldn't even be making these kits because I don't know what I'm doing, then if I say it enough, I'm going to psych myself up and I'm not going to be good at it. So I would rather be in a stage where I do things differently, we all do things differently, and that's a great thing. If we all did things the same, it would be so boring. Oh, Leslie, you're too good to me. You are as well, my friend. Okay, so this is called the 10 by 10 method. If I had a ruler, it would have been helpful, but basically what I do is I put it down, I measure 10 inches, and I pleat. Then I twist it, measure another 10 inches, pleat. Okay, I'm gonna make sure my loops are pretty even here. But yes, I just do this watching TV. I can crank out, so for the the virtual workshop, the company one, I had to do like 250 bows or something. And just in 3 nights, I just cranked them out. I just picked one ribbon and just did it while I watched TV and drank wine. And I was like, done, 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 done. And it definitely bothered my wrists. So I was glad I did it in advance and I did it in stages. Because if I do too much at once, then my wrists and hands feel super tired. All right. I mean, you kind of did on that one. I really I was like, oh, that looks so good. But, and you also put your own spin on it. So I am lovingly teasing you, but you really did do a great job. What I did when I was live at TM, I guess, I was like, oh, that could have been better. That could have gone better. I think there was too many things going on. You made a centerpiece out of it. I just like the way you styled it. Just like the way you styled it. It would be so great if I wasn't so blind. Meredith, I want to know, what's this hash brown? What's this hash brown thing? Because I love when people have like a good name. I'm always intrigued. So yeah, so I'm making, these end up being 5-inch loops. There's only 3 of them. And then what I do is I make one loop that's about 20 inches. Okay. And then I have my last tail. Take a piece of wire and just wire it together. And then I make a recommendation for people on how I style it, but they can do whatever they want. And if they want to undo the bow and make it a totally different way, that's fine. Like, you got to encourage people. They have to live with this wreath. It has to be something that they like. It doesn't matter if it's what I would do or not. Like, I'm not there to like tell people what they like and what they don't like. I'm just there to support them so that they get a wreath that they're proud of and that like matches their door and looks good in the neighborhood. You get tan? You're Irish and you get tan? Oh, Meredith. This is when we're not the same. I go from pale to burnt to peel to pale. You got married in June. I think this is a super cute nickname. I love that. Your husband's a clever man. That is so cute. Still hanging in there. There you go. All right, so for the sake of this workshop, I'm just doing 4 of each of the types. I have to look because I do have the spreadsheet that has what people picked. I do always bring a few extras, and I always bring the rolls of ribbon. You never want to show up somewhere and find out something's missing. That is my biggest fear. And so I always bring too much, and I always bring, like, when it comes to the bundles, I usually bring 1 or 2 extra. And as the instructor, don't ever forget to count yourself, because I did that one once too. Again, learn from my mistakes. And I was scrambling to get a whole bundle together so I could make it with the class because I did not think it through. I wasn't prepared. Yes, and this is like G-rated because it's on YouTube. So I sometimes talk like a teenage boy. But on YouTube, I'm like, I don't know. They flag everything. I guess, I don't know if you can swear, but like any type of music, even if it's like birds chirping, they're like, copyright, taking your monetization. I'm like, all right. So I keep it PG-13, I guess. But yes, I am a very sarcastic, silly person, and sometimes I forget that like sarcasm doesn't land well with everybody. But I can't help it. I've been getting myself in trouble with my mouth for a long, long time, since I was little. And I don't think I'm ever gonna learn, just because when I think something's funny, I just like blurt it out. But yes, I think we'd get along very well, Meredith. Now, where are you located? Hello, Miss Misty. How are you, friend? Little Luxury NC in the house. We're going over workshop prep. I had to do it, so I'm like, why don't I do it in chat about my workshop course, because it kind of can give a little bit of insight into like what's in the course. Do you ever do in-person things? I know you teach a ton online. You're teaching your pearls, you're teaching your designs. Do you ever do in-person workshops? It's their duty. Yes, things like that, like duty. I'm like, I can't control myself. And I like to tell people, I'm like, if I am like teasing you, I'm like a third grade boy. It means I like you. Like if I pick on you, it means I like you. And I know that doesn't always feel good to people, but like I mean, I pick on Kim all the time, right? Hobart, Indiana. Okay. Well, you're in luck because I don't know where either of those places are on a map. I just found out that Georgia is like all the way down near Florida. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what I was doing during those classes, but there was certain information that just did not get retained. There's some stupid information that I just can cling to, but whereas my see, Kim, means I like you. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, if people don't know my intention and I say something and they think it's fresh, then I'm like, oh gosh, put my foot in my mouth again. So my daughter she is like a scholar. She is very smart. She knows her facts. She knows her geography. She knows where you live, where those states are. Oh, you used to be in Cape Cod? Meredith, I love that it's duty for you. I love it. Yesterday, I had reached out to my sister-in-law because her whole family is military. So like her husband is a Marine, her sons are Marines, and then she holds down the fort. Like it's not easy to be running a house by yourself when, you know, like 3 of your kids are in training, your husband's overseas. So I had just sent a voice memo saying like, you know, please let them know like, thank you for your service. And her husband thought I said, thank you for your cervix. And I'm like, I mean, you did kind of like spit out some Marines, so I guess I could say thank you for your cervix. I was like, that is like the funniest thing I've ever heard. Thank you for your cervix. I was like, make a t-shirt because that is hysterical to me. The fact that he heard that is it's just hysterical to me. And the Cape is beautiful. So I grew up in Mass. I grew up in North Andover. And then like 13 years ago, I moved to New Hampshire. I swore I'd never live in New Hampshire. But I actually love my neighborhood. I live next to my parents. They ended up building next to us. So I will say somehow I started liking country music this year. So I'm like, I don't know, New Hampshire just got to me. But I loved living in Mass. But you can live in Mass. You can live in New Hampshire for a house that's like this. And for the same price in Mass, it's like this. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll cross lines. I'm gonna look at a map, and then I'm not gonna retain that information. But I know where the Cape is. I like always feel like people either are super into vacationing at the Cape or in Maine, and I am a Maine person. The Cape is beautiful, but I cannot handle the traffic. I cannot handle the Bourne Bridge. Like, it's just torturous. Like, when people are traveling at, like, 4 a.m. just to avoid the traffic, I'm like, no. And if you live in Maine, or if you know Maine, there's Flo's Hot Dogs, which is, like, the absolute best. You can actually buy their sauce now. Flo's Hot Dog is an intense place. Oh, I'm so sorry for you, Meredith. And like, I can't even, like, my parents are like my world. Like my dad does so much for me. And even like when I know, like if he's tired or something, he's like, no, I'll do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I have a hernia right now because I did some enraged landscaping and I had to move my terracotta pots and they're heavy. So I was like, or either my brother's going to be around and they aren't. So my dad was like, I'll do it. And I'm like, no, because he's having like an issue with his knee right now. So like I did it. Like we're both like equally stubborn. But yes, like I have like, I'm teetering on a hernia that like I'm freaked out about. And so like I really should not be lifting heavy things. But then there's a part of me that I'm like, I'm so OCD that if I, like something has to be done, it's got to be done. Yeah, moms are just so special. And I think it's great if you like have the opportunity to be close with your mom. Like in my family, we have a whole like sexist system. So if you are, if it's women, we call each other buddies. But if it's like my dad, I'm like, you're just a bud. Like the girls stick together, the boys stick together. So my brothers are just buds. My daughter, my mom and I, we're all buddies. And it's just a system that works. We make sure that the boys know that they are not our buddies. Are you in Misty's group? Because Misty, feel free to drop, I just touched something I shouldn't have. Feel free to drop a link. And yeah, anybody on here, gosh, I touch things. I don't even know, all these crazy windows are popping up. When you guys are on here, if you have, you know, a YouTube channel or a group and you want people to follow you or you want to just be able to like, hey, you know, we vibed well, like I want to be able to find you after, absolutely drop your information here. There's nothing but good things are going to come from it. It does not bother me. It makes me happy. I want to have people who are connecting and I want to also be able to like connect with you after as well. So it is super helpful when you drop, you know, your usually social media. Like I feel like if you do your Etsy shop, if that's the only place people can find you, but like you can't really communicate. So like for Misty's group, definitely like she has her pearls of wisdom. And Misty's just all around super supportive, always positive. Like, I mean, she's just, again, she's just a great woman to know. She's a great sis. She's supposed to be my mom from the South because I want to say things like y'all. And now with Morgan Wallen, I want to start saying hell no. Hell no. Yeah. Hell no. I think that's it. Hell no. Yeah. Yeah, there's some Morgan Wallen things I want to say. So, I don't know. He's from Tennessee, so I don't know how different that is from the NC slang or accent, I guess. The accent's a better way of putting it. Oh, I love that. Misty lives in your heart, Kim. I agree. And she is just, I don't really know how you keep like track of everybody, Misty, but like you are so good about like checking in, and when you know somebody's doing a live, like you're just always so supportive. So people in your group, like your members, they must be getting like Misty on steroids. So I can totally see why Kim is saying you live in her heart, because everything you do is very sincere. It's very heartfelt. Like you can't fake that stuff. Like you know, like there's just people that at some point I admired, and then I was like, you just seem like a cold fish to me. And I'm like, yeah, it's not for me. I don't need perfection. I need like genuine connection. That is what is going to seal the deal for me. And Misty is very genuine and incredibly thoughtful. my gosh, her and her husband run a food pantry. Like, I mean, they're like angels on earth. I think is a good way of saying it. Your mom passed away on April Fool's Day, 3:10 a.m. I always teased her with spiders. Meredith, there was oh, 3:10. Oh my gosh, Kim, that's so nice. And it's so important that like you tell people. Like, I am one of those people that if you walk by me and your outfit is like on fire, I'm like, you look gorgeous. I don't care if you're a stranger. Like, I feel like it's really important that if you see something that you admire, you like, that you take the time to let somebody know and like make them feel good. Like, if you appreciate it, like, let them know. Nothing cold, no cold fish with Misty, or you, Leslie, as well, because you check in on me as well. Like, you are very, very thoughtful. As we know, you're very intuitive, and I love your mom, so there's a lot of like awesome things in this community like that to take away from. And I find that, you know, it's really not always about design. It's about a deeper level of connecting with people. Like, yes, you might learn things like Lindsay from Tarnation Creation. Dang, she taught me some tricks and they were so easy. Like, she's a great teacher. Like, sometimes you have to find that teacher that you understand what they're talking about, as opposed to like, if it's just not your, you know, like if something's really technical, or if somebody doesn't have a sense of humor, I can't do it. I don't know. If you can't laugh at yourself and have a little fun, then I am gonna be like asleep on the floor. I love Lindsay. She was like, it was so great being able to see her. Got to see her down in Texas for Wreath Makers Live. And then at TMI Gifts, it was so awesome seeing Misty and Kayla. Yeah, it was so fun. Hot and sweaty, but fun. Like, when I was doing my live, people were like, oh, your skin's something about my skin, and I'm like, no, I'm sweating. I have sweat running down my back right now. Like, it is not my skin. It is probably my hormones. Like, something, but it's not my skin glowing, I promise you. Oh, well, make sure you say hi to your mom. She had her knee replacement surgery last week. I don't know what it is. I feel like everybody has like my dad's had both knees replaced. He had his hip replaced. And I'm like, we're not gonna be able to make it through metal detectors pretty soon. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, did people always have to have all these things done? Like, every single kid has braces now. I'm like, braces are like $6,000. How the hell does everybody have braces? Like, I don't know. It's funny because at my salon, Meredith, my stylist, who's the owner, she made shirts that say "Make America Blonde Again," and then she had some that said like "Make America Brunette Again." But I'm like, nobody's representing, you know, the redhead, the copper. Yeah, I know. Not everybody gets the humor, and it's a delicate dance, because you want to be able to connect with people on a genuine level, but like, just not everybody's gonna be like into it. But back to the spider thing, was I went to plug in this light the other day, and I'm not kidding, the spider was like this big, and I took a video of it, and I was like, what the actual F, this thing needs to die. I killed this thing with such force. Like, I'm surprised I didn't put a hole in the wall. I like went and got a Swiffer thingy, and I was like, please be there when I get back, because if it was gone, I would have died. But like, this was a very well established spider, and I'm still like looking around. I've been vacuuming down here a lot to make sure that they know that this is my spot, not theirs. Like, I'm trying to exert some dominance around here. But oh my gosh, I was so scared of it. I'm scared that it was even in my house. So now I'm like always looking at the floor. I want to train one of my dogs to eat them, maybe. I don't know. I tried to, like, when my daughter was little, make her not afraid so that she would kill them. But because I overreact, she ended up as afraid of them as I am. Hello, Miss Kimberly. Nice to see you. I know I don't go on here as much anymore, and I miss it. I miss it. We were doing some workshop prep earlier, and see, like, do you guys see, like, all these bows, effortlessly done, no measuring, barely looking, and I'm just gonna pack them up for my workshop. People are gonna get the bow that they picked because I'm gonna have it on the sheet that what they picked, and it'll keep things nice and simple. Oh no, I don't think there's any disrespect. You haven't been on in a year? Okay, well, you're worse than me. I just haven't been on very much. I just think, even back to like Merida's point, like there's so many things to do sometimes that it's like, it's hard to do all the things and to touch all the places. Like TikTok, I don't really rock with. I get super distracted. I'm not familiar to it, as Misty knows, because basically I did do a TikTok live like a couple months ago, and I thought I couldn't find the stop button to stop the live, and so I just shut my phone off, or like shut the screen off, and she's like feverishly like texting and calling me because it was still showing, like it was still showing it live, and I'm like, oh my god, like what did I say, what was I doing? And she was like, you're good, but like you needed to end that thing the right way. And what is your brother's name, Kimberly? Misty, I'm not kidding. I was talking to my sister-in-law, and I'm like, the things that we talk about, again, like, thank you for your cervix. Like, I mean, that conversation could have been about a million different things that were so inappropriate. Hello, Shane. Keeping your sister company tonight. That is very nice. I have to say, I'm the middle child, and there's like 5 years apart from me and my brother, so we haven't always done a lot together. But lately my little brother, he's been stepping up. He's been stepping up, and I really appreciate it. And he messaged me. Thank you, Shane. He messaged me the other day because he works in like investing, and he wanted to do something for his clients. And he's like, can you teach me how to make a floral arrangement for $20? And I'm like, I didn't realize you had that passion. And he's like, no, I don't. I just don't want to spend a lot of money. So I'm like, well, I can help you with that. You're the middle child too? So, okay. So I'm the middle child. I have an older brother we call Perfect Boy. I have my younger brother. He's the baby of the family. So he clearly is my mom's favorite. His child is my mom's favorite. Like, hands down. She doesn't hide it. She does lie and say that you love everybody different and you don't know because you only had one child. But I'm like, no, you have your favorites. My dad, on the other hand, my daughter is his favorite. Every password is some type of thing about her eye color or her name or her birthday. Like, she's clearly his favorite, okay? She will not be dethroned by my nephew. But I just found out yesterday, my sister-in-law was like, you're his favorite too. And I'm like, I am? Like, I knew I stood out because I was the only girl, but I was also like, I'm a pain in the ass. Like, I was awful as a teenager. I mean, I was kind of bad as a kid, but I was awful as a teenager. So I'm like, I can't believe I'm his favorite, but I am. And we are so much alike because, again, he lives next door. And, like, my leaf blower is, like, my best friend right now. Like, I love it. It's, like, I like to vacuum and have rug lines. And now I've discovered that the leaf blower is, like, doing the same thing but outdoors because we have the backyard is all turfed for the dogs. And, like, I just do it, like, a few times a week. Like, I am, like, a nut about it. I'm very OCD. And sometimes, like, I'll all of a sudden hear his leaf blower going off. And I'm like, he and I are just the same. Like, we have to get things done. We have to be busy. Like, it's very funny. So I'm so happy that I am my dad's favorite. And this means that my older brother, who's perfect, is nobody's favorite. And I gotta say, there's some satisfaction in that. To be perfect, but not be the favorite. And he's a pastor. He's got religion. He always behaved well. He's responsible, but doesn't take a title. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Middle child too. Yes. I mean, I think that the firstborn, I mean, I only have the one, so I can't compare, but I think that you just dote on your first child and you're so on top of like homework and all of these things. Like, I was going to say chores, but I never had her do chores until she was much older. But like they're your like focus. And so they're very well behaved. They're very well tended to. And I think with the second one, you're like, you know, yeah, you can go down that slide alone. Like, you know, I don't need to watch you on the merry-go-round, which is incredibly dangerous, but like such a wonderful part of like growing up in the 80s, because I don't think they exist anymore. And then if you have a third, I mean, I think just the wheels are off. I mean, I just think those kids are doing whatever they want. But because they're the baby, they're still the favorites. Well, Meredith, we don't want to help him because I just found out yesterday that I have the place of being my dad's favorite. So we can't help him. We need to leave it as is. I did grow up being compared to him because he was so well behaved, and I like had a million piercings and I was wild and all of these things. But he's got some pretty dumb tattoos, like cartoon tattoos. So like that doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth. I'll take a piercing any day over a cartoon tattoo. And if you have a cartoon tattoo, my girlfriend Kelly has one. It's SpongeBob. I don't get it. She loves it. It's her, you know, whatever. You do you, boo-boo. But for me, if I had ever started doing tattoos, they would have been ridiculous. So I just thank God, because when I was 16, me and my girlfriend had like fake IDs, or not fake IDs, but we kept trying to get into tattoo parlors, like saying, you know, like all sorts of stories and whatever. And thank God none of them gave us tattoos, because they would have been horrible decisions. Jennifer, you have 4. Your baby's 15. I always tell her, oh, you'll be fine. 4 kids is a lot. 4 kids is expensive. Yikes. No tattoos. Oh my gosh. Marvin the Martian, I forgot. And actually, I got my belly button pierced in P-Town. I that was like one of my adventures at the Cape. Texting on my phone. I mean, I guess you can live your life, Meredith. You don't need to give me all your attention. I understand. Oh my gosh, Jennifer, how do you have time? I did a custom order for somebody yesterday, and she ordered like 3 different things, and then like the 4th thing was custom. And I messaged her, and I'm like, okay, here's your listing. And I'm not even kidding. I don't even think it was 30 seconds. And she already had paid for it. And I'm like, dang, you work fast. And she's like, I got 3 little kids. She goes, I'll forget if I don't do it right away. Kahunas. See if you had the kahunas, waiting for the snowblower to be fixed because she didn't have anything to do. Yeah, I mean, basically anything above the waist. Yeah, I pierced. And I swear, I had my eyebrow pierced. My mom hated it, and one day I woke up and it was gone, and it wasn't on the sheets, it wasn't in my bed. I don't know what she did, but I will always think she's to blame, because then when I got it re-pierced, because I was like, nice try, Mom, then it hurt because it was scar tissue. And so now I always have to like pencil it in, because I'm like 48 years old. I don't really want like a bunch of like scars. The only thing I didn't pierce was my nose. I had somebody's mom scare me that like if I got my nose pierced, that like it could like make something collapse, and I was like, no. And so basically anything else was like okay, but not my nose, which I know like so many people get their noses pierced and they like keep them pierced forever. So you just did it to kill time? That's very interesting. And Jennifer, that's so sweet. I think it's great to like be able to be present and to enjoy it. And I like, I don't know. There's something about the holidays that I get really, I'm like so sad for Thanksgiving. I feel like Thanksgiving is like, I don't know, the girl who lost like to be prom queen or something. Like nobody pays attention to Thanksgiving like they should. Like it's a time that's not about gifts. It's about getting together. It's about eating a boatload of food and being okay with it. And you know, it's like everybody's pushing for Christmas. And I know I'm part of the problem because when you're selling, just like the stores, you got to put things out in advance. But I'm like, I want people to just enjoy Thanksgiving. Or I want Thanksgiving moved. I would like to see Thanksgiving in March. If it's in March, people don't have anything going on, no Valentine's Day, nothing to compete with. Like, give us it in March, and that way families aren't, you know, having to travel, you know, back to back months. You get the space, because then maybe there'll be something new to talk about. I don't know. Do I need to tell your husband to go home? Tell my husband. I mean, I will, Meredith. I'll say whatever you want. If he's got to go home. And Kimberly, if Shane needs to be doing more, just drop it in the comments, and I will put him on blast. I love that, Jennifer. Jennifer started doing wreath making and was able to pay for her boys' prom and graduation that year. Gotta love talking text. Yeah, I mean, when you can actually take something that you love and spin it into something that can, you know, like your family loves you. They want to see you happy, but like when you can actually show them too, like this isn't just a hobby. It's not just that I'm good at it, but it's like I'm good at it. I can sell it. I can market it. Like that is like the real deal. And I think like for me, I never felt like my daughter was watching me. You know, like I started in 2018 on Etsy, and I just felt like I was a little bit absent because it's like I would do my 9 to 5, I'd come home, I'd make dinner, and then I come down here, which was unfinished and probably had a million spiders in it. But and then I would design until like, you know, maybe like 10 o'clock at night, and I felt guilty, you know, like. And then in middle school, I think it was, she opened up her own Etsy shop, and she was going to places buying because she loves to sew. So she would go to places and buy patterns, like sewing patterns, like super cheap, and then flip them and upsell them on Etsy. And I was like, even when we think our kids aren't listening or that they don't care, they are. So I think that's a great takeaway. And Jennifer, for your kids to actually like see that and know that it was like motivated to help them and like to give them something, I'm sure that meant so much to them. Always wanted one the piercing. Oh, okay. Well, doesn't he have great taste? I'm just kidding. I'm just being fresh. Yeah. I just think piercings, there's like way less like collateral damage, because I just think of like you get a tattoo and it looks like this when you're young, and then as you grow older, like what does it look like? I don't know. It might not look the same. Guessing it wouldn't. But I almost got one. So my shepherd that I lost, he was a canine flunky, and he was like my absolute world. And he was trained to walk off leash. So you know, he wasn't allowed to like sniff the ground. He can only look at me or straight forward. Like he can't look at anything else. Would never go to the bathroom on a walk. Like those things, he was trained. He just never did them. And so I was gonna get a little thing of his face, like right where his schnoz like met my thigh, because he'd always look up when we'd walk, and it was like so special. And when I lost him, I was like so devastated because I'd never had a bond like that with any living creature. And so I have a girl shepherd. She is a girl. She's like, she could take or leave me. Like she doesn't really care about me that much. Ertie. So anyways, I decided I needed another boy shepherd in my life. And I asked my Jackie boy, my doggy that passed, because I have his painting, and I said, please send me like the dog I'm meant to have, because no one can replace you. And so it took 5 litters for there to be a boy available. Okay, the first litter, the one boy was taken. Second litter, it was all girls. Third litter, the entire litter died. Fourth litter, I forget. And then Bruno came in the 5th litter, and he was the only boy. And oh my gosh, do I love him so much. He will probably give me a concussion at some point because he's got bad eyesight. He runs straight into my knees. If you go anywhere near him, he's so excited. He headbutts you, and he's got this giant schnoz, and I just love him. And so I think I just spit when I was talking. That's nice. Keep it classy, San Diego. But we've been walking a lot lately, and the other day I took his leash off, and he started doing, like when you turn, he turned, and like without anything guiding him. And I was like, there it is. That's what I've been waiting for. Like, that's what I've been like missing, and it's made it, my heart's been aching for it. And like, he's got a lot to learn. He's still very immature. He's 1.5 years old, but I'm like, it was just magic to me. I don't know. I know I'm gushing about something that probably seems silly, but it just meant a lot to me. Jennifer, that is like it on the money, because when the first workshop I ever did, okay, I was so nervous. And like when I get nervous, like I want like an exit plan, which is why basically anytime I go in a room, like I am always nearest to the exit, because I want to just like, I think of like these crazy scenarios, like I could be driving somewhere and I'm like, I kind of wish something bad would happen right now so I don't have to do the thing, whatever it is. So I had set up a workshop at a friend's house, and I only charged them the cost of materials because I was like, this could be a train wreck. And I had my notes, like first thing is like you clean the wreath. Then you're gonna like make your bow, whatever it is. Like I just have these bullet points. And I got all set up, and then I got so nervous, and I started thinking like, how the hell do I get out of here? Because these people know me and they know where to find me. And so I drank like probably 2 glasses of Chardonnay and like 1 gulp. And I was like, all right, let's do the dang thing. And so the first couple minutes, I was nervous. I was shaky. I wasn't confident. And then the more I started talking about what it is that I love to do, and I can talk about it like, ad nauseum. And as soon as I got into that rhythm of like, they're not even looking at me. They're looking at what they're doing. They might be listening to me, but they're more into what they're doing versus what I'm doing. And it just went into autopilot. And that's when I knew doing workshops was something that I meant to do. Because if you told me I had to go and speak to people about geography, which I clearly am lacking the knowledge of, I would probably like just melt into a puddle of tears and hives. But when you are talking about something that you love, you actually like, you start to focus on the thing that makes you happy, the thing that's like, spiking those dopamine levels, and you stop getting in your head. And so that is like one thing I just always encourage people, like, do things scared, because when you say no to opportunities, like, it's easy to say no. I mean, and some things like just aren't a good fit, but if you get presented with an opportunity that really intrigues you, even if you're scared, like, you still got to do it. You got to do it, and you have to have a community that is going to be there to support you, like somebody that you can ask. So like Jennifer, like, you can have me on speed dial. Like, there's, a handful of people that have my course, and like, you guys have my full attention, because if there's anything in there that is missing, I am going to make sure that I get it to you, and I serve it up fast, and I make sure that you have everything that you need. I'm so invested in it, because I want to make sure that, like, nobody wants to buy a course and then be like, really? I could have like watched this on YouTube. I wanted it to be something that has enough resources for everybody who takes it to like feel like they're up and running, like that you could be doing it for Christmas. Like, you can start doing it for winter, like right now, whether it's a fundraiser, a friend's house, like a girls' night, or like make some money. I mean, like, you know, I've had jobs where it's like you're taking in $3,000, like just for, and I'm talking after all your costs, $3,000 for one night of teaching. You know, you get the right audience, you get the right price point, you get, you know, the right supplies. You can make a lot of money in one night, but you have to like do things carefully, because if you like over purchase stuff or you commit to something that's too expensive, like say like the bells, you know what I mean? Like these are bells I had left over. I mean, they still, I have to put a monetary amount to them. But like if I advertise something that had like, I don't know, bells that cost $10, like that's $10 out of my pocket pretty much. Like, you know, I found something that like, listen to how sweet this sounds. Oh, it sounds even sweeter up close. So like these are these antique bells from like an Etsy shop, and like they legit, they're like magic. And so everyone's gonna get their two. They're gonna get some string. They can do it whatever they want with it, but you want to make sure that you're giving them nice product, but not like stuff that's gonna break the bank, because anytime you do that, what you're doing is you're taking money that should be in your pocket for your efforts, and you're basically just giving it away when it probably didn't make a big world of difference. Like I would never use designer ribbon at an event. Everything I use pretty much, it's always nice, it's always structured, but like I get them in 50-yard, whatever, increments, measurements. Usually I use Craft Outlet. They're kind of like my go-to. There's not a whole lot of wholesalers that I bought from for ribbon, like for bulk, but like I wouldn't use like my David Christopher ribbon. Like I just, unless you really thought, you know, you could add on $10 and people are going to understand this is designer ribbon, then it's not worth it, because it's an expense that is avoidable, because you can still give them like a beautiful product. It's structured. It looks great. It's just not Ferrosilk. Like you can, it'd be so hard to offset the cost of Ferrosilk. I am an ummer too, and it drives me nuts. Because you know how it is, like, you don't like to hear yourself speak. Like, your voice always sounds, like, so strange to you. Like, I've asked, you know who, she's listening, like, I want to know what my accent sounds like to other people, because I have a really bad habit of imitating people's accents, and it's probably offensive. I don't mean to do it. I just can't help it. Like, I love, like, Misty's accent. Like I want to live in the South, because I want to be like, hell nah. Like, I want to do it. I want to say y'all. Like, where on the coast did y'all stop? Because I wish it just would like go up like higher. Let us all say y'all. But you know, Misty has adopted me, but at the same time I didn't know what hush puppies were, but I'm gonna move on from that. I was like, what are these balls? And somebody's like, hush puppies? I'm like, what the hell are hush puppies? But they're so good. You can do so many things with them. Oh, I'm so glad, Meredith. So you're in the group. Are you in there under a different name? Because yes, you're in the design school. It is really funny. So I've been doing like a major de-stash, because again, sometimes we go bananas with our you know, impulse shopping. So anyways, people were like coming in and they were like going through, like I just leave them in my garage. I'm like, I'm gonna lock my car. I mean, if you steal from me, like, so be it. Like, you want to take a rake, I don't know, like, so be it. But one woman, she is like, she's a local designer. She has like an Etsy shop, and I'm like, oh, who do you follow on? Like, are there any designers that you follow? And she's like, oh, I used to do Southern Charm Wreath. She's like, but it was really businessy. And I'm like, well, was it the business group? And she's like, maybe. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna get a whole lot of designing stuff there. And I'm like, I'm not offended. Like, I mean, yes, I coach, like, but you know, again, you have to follow people that you speak the same language. So I'm like, don't worry about, like, I'm not offended. I'm like, I was just curious about it. You're in the hash browns. Me? Meredith, are you saying I sound like a gangster? I don't think it could be me. I think I have way too much blush on. Or bronzer. Oh my God. Cara. I went bananas. I sound gangster, huh? Well, watch out for my posse, Meredith. And watch out for this bronzer. This thing is lit up. I did not really even that out. Interesting. Me and Barry Manilow. Oh my gosh. I was watching the movie Sleeping with the Enemy the other day, and I'm like, is it wrong that this is like my favorite love story? Like, because it is. Oh, I love it. I love the music from it too. All right, kids. Well, this highly bronzed face, you're being too kind. For real, like, when I'm looking right now, you know, on Mr. Rogers, what was like when the train went into the imaginary world, like Lady Elaine or something, who was like big rosy cheeks and her forehead and her chin, like that's what I look like right now. That was a bad decision on my part. Let me return to you less bronze next time, because Lord knows I have not seen the sun. I don't know if any of us are seeing the sun at this point. But so to recap on things to come, there is the course, which is you can just get the free list of 10 things I wish I knew when I started running in-person wreath workshops. There is also, you can just look at the course directly. And then also, we're going to be doing the virtual workshop. We're going to be doing the virtual workshop on the 25th. It's going to have the same supplies as what we used here. So if you want to join us, we're going to do like a Zoom call. It's going to be fun. I know like Kim's going to do it. We'll see if anybody else is interested, but I think it'll be a good time. So thank you guys so much for keeping me company. Thanks for all the kindness. Honestly, like, I know I don't talk yet. Oh my gosh, Meredith, you're so funny. You're so funny. You're hysterical. And you like that movie too, yes. I was like, yeah, jump right off that boat. Do what you gotta do, Julia Roberts. So hopefully I see you guys soon. I'm gonna try and be better about getting on some of these lives at night. So good night, everybody. Good night, Miss Misty. My mama from down south. Okay, y'all. Just kidding. Okay, I'm going too far with it. All right. Good night, guys.